thank you so much for joining in. And today we are presenting one more webinar, the Thursday webinar series that's going on. And we have been talking on ABM for a very long time. So we are going to continue this series this week itself. So if you are anybody who is into B2B marketing, B2B sales, account-based marketing, you are at the right place because we are going to talk about what we call as the ABM 2.0. It's a very interesting subject and it's very close to my heart. This is something that we have been doing every single day right now. We are living in exciting times and a lot is happening thanks to AI automations and everything in between. So just, keep yourself tuned into this webinar and there's a lot to unpack in this one. All right, so for everybody who do not know me, my name is Ritesh Osta. I'm the founder of a company called Insight Tap. We are a B2B growth agency. We help companies with go-to-market and ABM strategies. And I'm also one of the top rated Fiverr Pro in this particular category. I am top rated in the category of GTM engineering, performance ads, CRM and retention, and AI and agentic development, app development. So if you need any of those services, please contact me. Check out the links below in my descriptions, and let's get started with this one. All right. So I'm very excited about what we call as the ABM 2.0. Now, the moment I say something like ABM 2.0, the question arises: what was ABM 1.0? So today we are going to take this session, this workshop, more like a comparison of what traditional ABM was, account-based marketing, and what today's ABM stands for. And thanks to GTM engineering, a lot is changing in ABM as well, and we are going to talk about that as well in this webinar. Okay, so today's topic is: what is the difference between the traditional ABM, or let's call it ABM 1.0, to the signal-driven ABM, what we are calling as ABM 2.0? All right. So from traditional ABM to signal-driven growth, what is the way forward? Okay. All right. Let's talk about the evolution of ABM. That's the first thing, evolution of ABM. I have been doing account-based marketing and B2B marketing and B2B sales since almost 15 years now. Before that I was working as a developer for SAP ERP, and I have been doing this for a very long time. I'm talking about the early 2010s, where ABM was very different. Account-based marketing, sales enablement was very different. Outreach was not that easy. Getting the data was not easy. I still remember paying thousands of dollars for Zoom Info credits 10 years back. A few thousand credits used to cost a few $1,000s. So ABM, outreach was something which was reserved for very large companies. The data was not readily and freely accessible. There were a lot of lead generation agencies who used to generate leads. They are still there, by the way. But those lead generation agencies used to generate leads and sell it to these large enterprises at a very hefty cost. Sometimes the cost used to be $6 a lead or $10 a lead, and on the upwards of that. But we are living in very exciting times now in 2025, where the data is readily available. There are so many different data providers, and now the cost of the data has crashed in the market. So from tens of dollars to a few cents, that is how the market has crashed when it comes to lead data, right? It is freely available. If you have access to an Apollo account or a Cognism or Lucia or any of it, you can practically buy data for a few cents. You can practically get the leads for a few cents. That has actually opened up the doors for even the startups and the small medium businesses to go ahead and try out their hands on outreach and ABM and outreach based GTM. Okay, so let's talk about the evolution of ABM. What ABM was. Traditionally, the ABM was, I'm talking about traditionally, when I say traditionally, I'm talking about 5 years back. So that is how much changes has happened in the last 5 years. So 5 years back, things now we are calling it traditional. Nonetheless, 5 to 10 years back, there were traditional lead chasing happening. That means, people used to go and buy the leads from lead generation agencies, or they used to download the leads from Zoom Infos, and they used to just lead chase the lead. They used to just send the email, give them a call, and they were just cold leads and unqualified leads. And the whole idea of ABM was find out the list of companies that you want to target, find out all the decision makers, and then just keep hitting them with an outreach until you get some response. That is what traditional ABM has been in many ways. The traditional ABM also, since there was so much of human resources that was needed, the automation was not there to a large extent. So there used to be a lot of human resources that was needed. For example, somebody needs to go ahead and find the company information, the contact information, enrich the data, upload the data into spreadsheets, upload it in CRM. A lot of stuff used to happen manually. So companies used to focus only on very high value accounts, and the outreach was very limited. And the alignment efficiency was low, alignment was difficult, and the conversions were a challenge, in many ways. Okay, but on the flip side, the good thing was that there were not too many companies doing outreach, right? So 10 years back, the CEOs and the founders were getting less bombarded by these outreach systems as compared to what it is right now. Since outreach is now readily available, the tools and the data is readily available, which also means that more and more decision makers are getting more and more emails. That's the flip side of it. So there are challenges in whatever you do. But this is how the ABM is now evolving, and I'm going to keep talking about where it is heading, where we are right now, and where it is heading when it comes to ABM 2.0. Let's talk about the dark funnel reality. Okay. When it comes to ABM, account-based marketing, in the traditional sense, people were not really aware of other intent and the signals that the accounts were giving off. For example, suppose you are into heavy engineering company, and you are an engineering design company. I'm just making this up, by the way. Or you are into logistics and warehouse, and you are, giving software solutions or certain type of solutions for logistics or warehouse industry, whatever it is. The dark funnel reality was very fuzzy in a sense. For example, 10 years back, you hardly know what those companies, if you have made a list of 100 companies and you want to reach out to them, all you could do was make a list of 100 companies, put up a few people, working on top of the company data, and then find out the contact data, and then just simply, start running email campaigns or possibly a LinkedIn outreach campaign, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. There were no other signals that could have been taken in real time. For example, if the accounts you are prospecting is going through M&A, mergers and acquisitions, you were not aware of it. If the account you are prospecting is hiring a new CIO, which is going to change the game in terms of their decision makings when it comes to onboarding new vendors for software, most likely you are unaware of. If your account you are prospecting is going through a funding round, right? Then 10 years back, it was very hard to get those signals. I mean, of course, you can, larger companies, they used to build a separate team, and they used to work with the Gartners and the G2s and the SourceForges and work with their business analyst. And so there used to be a lot of work that were put in to identify these realities, but only large companies could afford that. You know, smaller companies, startups, there's no way they could afford this kind of system and this kind of large team who could continuously prospect and research and and find out more information about their prospect. So the traditional ABM was missing most of the signals, right? Whether it is social media, whether it is communities, or whether it is any major decisions happening in terms of funding or acquisitions or any other stuff. It was missing out a huge chunk of signals that was hard to do, and you typically needed human beings to continuously find those information in real time. So that was challenges when it comes to traditional ABM, and the traditional ABM missed most of the signals that are which are out there. And we have talked about dark funnel a lot in our previous webinar. So dark funnel is the part of the funnel which is dark, right? That means your prospect are doing something. They are looking for your product and service. They are sending out signals, but they are not talking to you, right? So you're not aware of that. Traditionally, what happens was only when the company used to visit the site or visit the social media, fill up the contact us form, then the buyer's journey really started in many ways. So the sales team and the business development team used to just sit and just wait for somebody to fill up the form on the contact us page, and then they used to start doing the prospecting and all. Or they used to just send an email, and then they used to just sit and wait for somebody to reply interested or book a calendar. Only then they used to take up the next step. So that was the hard reality in many ways, for traditional ABM for many years, right? But things are changing now, thanks to AI and automation and other stuff in place. Things are changing now, and things are changing very fast. We are going to talk about that. Okay, why traditional ABM falls short? Okay, as I said, the traditional business development team and the sales team, they used to just wait for the form fills. Now, according to all statistics across industry, there's only less than 2% chances somebody, go ahead, comes and fills up the form. So there are thousands of prospects out there. Out of that, there are few prospects who have actually visited your site, but only, even among those, only less than 2% of the prospect will actually go ahead and fill up the form. So under the traditional ABM, companies used to lose a lot of qualified leads and prospect because those leads and prospects were in dark. And they were in dark about their intent and signals, right? So by the time that the business development team or the sales team used to engage with the lead was already in the very late stage in the journey. So only if they want the software, then possibly they will go ahead and do a G2 comparison and then fill up a form, and only then the sales team used to get involved. But by that time, it's already too late, right? The companies used to miss a huge opportunity to create a relationship early on with the prospect, given the fact that the company could have figured out that the prospect is looking for their service. But that rarely used to happen, and the companies used to only get an action when the inquiry used to come in, and by the time, I sincerely feel that it was really too late, because they are just doing an inquiry. They are already aware of all the information. They are already possibly talking to a few of your competitors. So it's like a missed opportunity in many ways to create a relationship that could have been built if the journey would have started a little earlier, right? So traditionally, the sales and marketing were also in silos. So marketing used to just, there was always a handover process. The marketing used to run those performance ads and outreach, just send the lead to sales and forget about it, right? And the sales team used to just do whatever they were doing in terms of follow-up and others. And they were not real, there's no real coherence for a lot of companies when it comes to sales and marketing. And these two departments used to work in silos. right? And the campaigns were very static and rigid, right? The campaign used to take days and months to run, and those campaigns were very static and rigid. So those were the challenges of traditional ABM and why it was falling short, traditionally. Now let's talk about the shift. The shift is what we call as the ABM 2.0. Okay. So what is the major shift? So we are not going to deep dive into a lot of stuff here in the technicalities in today's presentation, but we're going to talk about some high level, mindset changes and the process changes that has happened in ABM in last couple of years. So there are few shifts, few major shifts that has happened, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those shifts. So the first major shift is from list based to signal driven. That means from campaign based to signal driven. Earlier, the whole ABM was list down a list of companies, 50 companies, 100 companies, 500 companies, find the decision makers, create a list, send the campaign, see who is interacting, and then go ahead and take the next step. But now in ABM 2.0, it is signal driven. So instead of just blanket, creating a bunch of accounts and then just keep sending them emails, sending the message, we are also signal driven. So instead of us reaching out, possibly we can build a system by which we'll be able to identify the signal. For example, here are the list of companies who have recently hired CIO. Here are the list of companies who have gone through M&As and fundraising. Here are the list of companies who have started a lot of hiring recently, right? Here are the list of companies who have just purchased Salesforce. These are the signals. Now we have the technology and the tool set to find out those signals in real time. And then based on those signals, create the ABM strategy, right? So it's not about just, hey, make a list, send them email and see what happens. Instead, make a list based on, these certain criteria and signals, see what's really going on, and then, create an outreach, an outbound, which is very, very specific to their need and based on the information that we have. So list-based to signal-driven, campaign-based to signal-driven, that's a major shift that has happened when it comes to ABM 1.0 to ABM 2.0. The second is from reactive to proactive. As I said, a lot of teams, business development team used to just sit around and just wait for the lead to come in or wait for the lead to just reply yes to their outbound. So it was many ways reactive, right? But now there's a shift to going proactive. So now you can put up social listening, for example, and proactively listen to the social media channels on, so your prospect talking about certain areas. Or you can proactively listen to what really, is going on in terms of hiring in the industry. You can proactively listen to which companies are getting funded in this fiscal year or this quarter. You can put up a signal as to what kind of jobs the company are posting, right? So you can put up all those signals and you can be proactive instead of just being reactive, right? And then the third major shift is recognition of invisible buyer intent. So earlier it was very hard to find out the buyer intent, right? For example, if a company is buying a new warehouse, it was very hard to figure that out. Maybe you have to just follow the company news and their social media proactive, all the time, putting human beings to continuously monitor those channels in order to find out any news going on with respect to your prospects. Now, with the AI agents and the chatbots and all those, the agentic technology, you can continuously monitor the market, okay, and gather the information and recognize the invisible buyer intents based on your need, right? So these are the three major shift that has happened in ABM 2.0. Okay, so when you go from ABM 2.0 to ABM 2.2, ABM 1.0 to ABM 2.0, there are certain key traits that you need to see. The question might come to me, somebody like me, say, how do I identify that, I am in ABM 2.0 as compared to ABM 1.0? So these are the key traits of ABM 2.0. So if you are taking care of these traits, if your ABM has these traits, then possibly you are in the present or in the future of ABM. Okay. The first is signal driven engagement, right? You have the ability, the tools, the automations, the systems to find out the signal and reach out to the prospect based on the signal and create an engagement. So all these systems needs to be in place. If you know all the signals and you're not reaching out to your prospect based on the signal and you're not able to personalize your message based on that signal, then you're not in ABM 2.0, right? Real-time orchestration. So all of these things needs to happen in real time. That means a lot of stuff AI agents and AI will do, and automation will do without human intervention. If you have the system which can do that, good. You're very close to ABM 2.0. Revenue team alignment, the whole process needs to be aligned with your revenue RevOps team. And now this new term has come up with RevOps, which is like a combination of the marketing and the sales team and the revenue team all together working together. So that alignment needs to be there in terms of setting the goals and ensuring that you are on the right path. Contextual personalization. That means once you have the signal, once you identify the decision makers, once you enrich the data, are you able to contextualize the communication, right? If somebody is going through a funding round, can you contextualize that information? And then based on that, can you personalize the outreach? That's the question, right? If somebody is just hired a new CIO, can you contextualize with that particular thing? If I'm sorry, if somebody has just acquired a new warehouse and they want to, add more machinery and human resources to that, can you contextualize with that particular information that you just got? So that's very important. So if you are not able to contextualize or personalize your outreach, then possibly you're not there yet, right? And then life cycle coverage. So you've got to understand the entire buyer cycle, and then you see what it needs to take from acquisition to expansion. Okay, the whole trait needs to be mapped out. All right. So these are the key traits of ABM 2.0, because this question comes to me all the time. Hey, what is this? How do I know that I'm in the right direction, or I'm in the cutting edge of ABM and B2B marketing? So these are the key traits, right? Ensure that you have the system in place to identify the signal. Ensure that in real time you can create an engagement, an outreach. Ensure that your RevOps team is totally aligned with your marketing team and sales team. Is your outreach contextually personalized? Do you have the system in place? And do you have the life cycle coverage? So, can you go from the entire one life, from acquisition to expansion? Do you cover everything? If that is the case, then you welcome to ABM 2.0. You are in the future of B2B marketing. So let's talk about anonymous signals, okay, which is what I call as the hidden gold mine. There are so many signals that we talk about, right? There are signals like mergers and acquisitions, funding, hiring, firing, tech acquisition. Somebody bought a Salesforce or SAP. Social signals, somebody talking about something in social media channels. So the signals are many, and then nowadays there are so many tools and platforms and automations, and you can build your own AI agents as well to identify those signals. But not all signals are equal, right? Some signals are more important than others. So there are certain signals that if you can keep a track of it, people ask me, hey, what is the signal I should ideally keep a track of? There are certain right answers, there are general right answers, For example, you should track your website visitors. And this is across industry for most of the B2B enterprise. If you know who is coming to your website, browsing your website, who is coming to your app, browsing your app, you're doing a good job, right? This is the low-hanging fruit. You should find out, okay, if they are browsing, what they are browsing, are they on the pricing page or the case study page? Are they on the blog page? It will tell a lot about that particular company or individual who are browsing, right? So the hidden gold mine is website visit without form. So somebody is coming to the website, but they're not filling up the form. But you can identify that thanks to reverse IP technology and others now in place with companies like Six Sense, B2B, Factors, Yield Feeder, and so many others. You can put that tracking code and you will be able to figure that out. And create an outbound around that, right? That's the lowest hanging fruit. Multiple employee browsing, in your page, in your prospect company, there are multiple people who are coming to your website and browsing your app or website. That's a very important signal. Correct? Ad clicks, super important signals. Okay, that means they're clicking on the ad, they're coming to the landing page, they're coming to social media, but they're not taking any action. Good. Do the retargeting, do the customer match ads, you can do even outreach now with tools like Factors, right? You can do a lot. These are low-hanging fruits, as I said. Peer community mentions. Community mentions there are tools like Trigify, with social listening tool and others. Now, all the tools that I'm taking name, I have no affiliation with them. It's just the tools that I have used. They are all great tools, and that's why I'm taking the names. Feel free to find out other tools, competitor tools, if you wish to. So peer mentions, community mentions, social mentions, super important signal, right? And review site activity. For example, if you are listed on G2 and there are people coming up and they're doing some activity on those, they're comparing your software with your competitor software and all of that, that signal can be easily tracked back into your CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce. And based on that, you can, find out those signals. So these are low-hanging fruits that we typically suggest our customers to look into first before going to other signals. These are the lowest hanging fruit, as I said, that you can start right from tomorrow, right? Okay, and it will significantly increase your pipeline. Why anonymous signal matter? Okay, why does it matter? The reason why it matters is because you don't want to catch hold of your prospect when they are close to what we call as the bottom of the funnel, or when they are close to decision-making process. So if you look at the funnel, any funnel for that matter, there are three stages. First is the top of the funnel, where people are just looking for things. They are browsing it. For example, if I want to, just for an example, if I want to look for a hotel, in Maldives, right? What will I do? I'll just start browsing what are the best hotels in Maldives and best resorts in Maldives and like so on. So these are top of the funnel, right? Then as a next step, I will go ahead and start comparing, right? This resort versus this resort. So I'll possibly do some research around comparison. So there are comparison websites which will pop up, and I'll do some comparison of the price and the features and not features, sorry, all the amenities which are there in the hotel or resort. That's the middle of this. And then finally, I will start doing, hey, I want to book a room. So at the end, I'm going to just say this hotel booking, room or room booking, whatever. And then I will do my own research around that. That will be the bottom of the funnel. So many businesses in B2B also, they only catch hold of the audience when they are in the bottom of the funnel. When they're actually going to book a room and they are possibly, by the time they've already done the research, they are already aware of your competitors. It's too late for many businesses. Imagine if somebody is just looking for things in Maldives and you are aware of it immediately, and then you can reach out to them immediately. Imagine how much of an advantage that's going to be for your business. And that's what we say, why the signals matters and why early warning system. It's like in military they call it the early warning system, right? If there is an attack going on, then it's up to your radar to warn you early on that there is a military enemy aircrafts or missiles coming up to your direction. The earlier you detect them, the better it is, right? In the same way, the earlier you detect the intent, the surface intent, before the actual actions, the better it is for your company to reach out to those prospects and close the deal, right? Before your competitors can. So it also gives you context to tell you what the account is interested in and what they are looking for. And it also gives you a competitive advantage. That means you can engage before your competitors. That's the major reason why signals matter and why having an early warning system is really helpful. Okay, so let's talk about the ABM 2.0 playbook. So we talked a bunch of stuff. So these are the major 5 major steps when it comes to the ABM 2.0 playbook. This is the main step of the framework that you need to follow. The first step is, of course, capturing the signals. Put up the systems to capture the signals. There are tools available, and you need to identify what signals is relevant for you. The second, once you identify the signals, you identify the accounts, and then enrich the data, right? Find out the decision maker in the account, find out more information about that particular account, more information about the people working for those accounts. So enrich. And this also you can do it through AI and agent and automation. You can do a lot. Thanks to tools like Anitens and Clay, you can do a lot. Then prioritize, right? Not all accounts are equal. Prioritize based on the signals that they are sending, based on other behavioral, demographic, technographic information that you can find, enrich everything, and then prioritize it. Put up a lead scoring mechanism in place. Then activate. Activate means reach out to them. Send them email, send them LinkedIn message, run ads to them. Run customer match ads on LinkedIn and Google. Activate, and then finally measure and optimize. So that's the playbook. That's the top 5 step of ABM 2.0 playbook. Okay, you have to put all the systems in place, and if you can integrate all the systems in the steps that I just mentioned, this is the playbook for ABM 2.0, right? And we have tried to simplify as much as possible. We have been doing this for quite a few weeks now, and we are trying to simplify this whole jargon, this gigantic behemoth of a topic, which is ABM and B2B marketing, and how AI and automation is playing its role into it. We're trying to simplify as much as possible, and this is our attempt to simplify things. If you can keep these basics in place, if you work through this particular framework, you will be ready for the next wave of ABM. All right, so let's talk about these steps quickly. First is the capture. Start with, as I said, the low-hanging fruit, the website visitors. You can use tools like Clearbit and Leadfeeder and Factors and RB2B to add. Even HubSpot now with Breeze Intelligence has this technology in place. Start with the website visitor ID, third-party intent. If you are active in Bambora or G2 or SourceForge, do the integration with your CRM, and then find out the intent. Find out all the people, prospect companies visiting your G2 profile, so that you can get those signals immediately. And also technographic, right? For example, if they have just recently they have implemented Salesforce or HubSpot or SAP. You can use tools like Data Analyze, and Built-With and others. All right, you can find that. So push those intent. I mean, there are so many other intents. This is where we should actually, begin with. Then the step 2 and 3, which is enrich and prioritize, match the anonymous data with the accounts, right? Website visitors, match it with the accounts. Around 50 to 60% of the time, you'll be successful doing that. Make a list of that account, enrich with firmographic, technographic, people information, and then score. Put up a lead scoring mechanism. You can do all of that through AI and AI-based automation. You can do that. Okay, and also put the information of intent. For example, if they have posted a job or they have just recently been acquired or whatever it is, put that information and then put up a lead scoring, right? And then you'll identify that not all accounts are equal, and then that will help you prioritize in terms of outreach. Then step 4 is activate, where you're going to run ads, run the outreach, run LinkedIn, run SMS, whatever is going to be the channel for you. I would suggest that you use multi-channel approach. That means more than one channel. Okay. And if there are certain actions happening, for example, if you are sending an email and sending a LinkedIn message and somebody replies, you should build up a system by which you will get real-time alerts, say in Slack or CRM or whichever system that you are following. Okay, that means, hey, somebody has opened the email, hey, somebody has replied to the email, somebody has just clicked on the link. I think that the system should be able to capture those events, and based on that, create the real-time alerts. And also, it will help the customer success. Okay, upsell. For example, your existing customer is coming back to your website doing something. That signal can be passed back to the customer success team so that they can do an upsell or they can prevent from churn. For example, your existing customer coming back to your uh, a page where they want to unsubscribe or something like that. Then also it will give the signal to customer success team and the sales team to reach out to the customer before it's too late. So, I mean, there are use cases are many. These are just some basic ones, but I hope you're getting the point when it comes to activation. And then finally, measure. Measure whether all the stuff that you're doing is actually helping you accelerate the pipeline, whether the pipeline itself is growing and whether the acceleration is happening within the pipeline. Check out the win rates, right? Did you get any growth with respect to win rate? Did you get any growth with respect to deal size? Is the revenue being influenced by ABM 2.0 in 3 to 6 months or 8 months timeline? So set up those timelines and see whether there is an actual influence in the goals that you are setting, right? That's super important so that you can continuously optimize, measure, and and create more efficient processes, right? So this is something which needs to be there in place. So quick synopsis for before and after the traditional ABM versus ABM 2.0. The traditional ABM waits, engages late, it is siloed, and it is static, right? So it just waits for people to fill up the form. It engages late. Only when the people are ready, then that time your sales team engages. It is siloed. Marketing team is running the campaigns. Sales team is just, in many ways they become order takers. And the campaigns are very static, right? There's no real-time intent and signals coming up. So it's a pretty static campaigns. That is how traditional ABM works. ABM 2.0, on the other hand, detects early, detects the signals and the intent, aligns the team quickly. It works on real time, and it is very dynamic. It's very personalized, dynamic, and contextual. That's the major difference between traditional ABM and ABM 2.0. There's a big shift here, but it's very important for you if you are into B2B marketing and B2B sales to understand this shift. If you are going to stay traditional, then it's going to be challenging, going forward because your competitors might be already in ABM 2.0. So it's about time that you sit with your management and, review and audit your entire strategy and come up with a plan to face the challenges posed in the market. So ABM 2.0 is more of a mindset shift. Okay, it's very important to shift your mindset from reactive to proactive. See what others are missing. Influence earlier. The future of ABM is signal driven. Okay, so the mindset needs to be shifted. The mindset needs to be, hey, you know what? How can I identify before everybody else? How can I influence before everybody else? How can I, find out all the signals? That's the future of ABM. And if the mindset shift happens, then all the other shifts will also happen. So I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to us, please reach out to our website, insight.com. We have a growing YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel where we talk about GTM engineering, ABM, B2B sales, and everything related to B2B, growth. So please do subscribe to it. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through my company or through my Fiverr account. Do find me on LinkedIn, send a connection request. I'll be very happy to be in touch with you. Thank you so much for listening to this. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.